She stood in the hallway, gripping her worn backpack like a shield, her old camouflage jacket drawing every stare like a spotlight in a dark room. Laughter burst behind her, sharp, loud, unkind. "Nice costume, soldier girl," someone called out. A few others snickered, treating the moment like entertainment. But Ellie Harper didn't react. She didn't glare or shrink. She just kept walking, boots tapping softly against the linoleum, steady and unbothered. Her silence carried more strength than any comeback. It was Veteran Appreciation Day at Franklin High. Most students wore the usual red, white, and blue. Teachers handed out tiny flags. But Ellie didn't dress up for the theme. She came wearing what mattered most. The camouflage jacket wasn't for show. It had belonged to her older brother, Lance Corporal Ryan Harper. He wore it during his last deployment. Ellie never saw him again. The jacket still held the faint scent of sand and diesel, a piece of him she couldn't let go. He left at 18. He never made it to 20. A folded flag still rested on her mother's mantle, heavy with everything left unsaid. No one at school knew. Ellie never told them. Grief doesn't need an audience. At lunch, the teasing returned. "Someone tell G.I. Jane this isn't basic training." A teacher looked over, then pretended not to see. No one stepped in. Ellie ate alone, tracing her brother's stitched name above her heart. Her silence was the only armor she had. But she wasn't invisible to everyone. Coach Dillard, once an Army Ranger, now the school's gym teacher, had noticed her jacket and the quiet strength in her eyes. After school, he made a single phone call. The next day was Friday night football. Half the town squeezed into the stands, the band warming up, the field buzzing with noise. Ellie stayed near the edge of the bleachers, alone as usual, jacket zipped to her chin. Then, at exactly 6:45 p.m., something shifted. A distant rumble rolled across the sky. People shaded their eyes. It wasn't thunder. A Black Hawk helicopter swept in low. Gasps erupted as it descended onto the 50-yard line, kicking up wind, dust, and stunned silence. The doors opened, and a crew of soldiers stepped onto the turf, their boots heavy and sure. The commander walked straight toward Ellie. He stopped in front of her and saluted. She froze, stunned, every pair of eyes locked on them. Then he placed a small, weighty object in her hand, a commemorative challenge coin engraved with her brother's unit insignia. On the back were the words, "For those who stand when silence is easier." Ellie swallowed hard. How did you know?" The commander answered softly, "Your silence said everything." Behind her, the students who mocked her didn't make a sound. Some stared at the ground. Some looked ashamed. Coach Dillard stepped up to the microphone. "Tonight," he said, "we honor a true hero, not because she fought, but because she remembers." The stadium roared with applause. Ellie didn't smile. She just looked up at the sky, holding the coin tight. She never wore camo to stand out. She wore it so her brother wouldn't fade away. After that night, no one laughed at her jacket again. And the next Veterans Day, nearly half the school wore camouflage in silence. Because real strength doesn't shout. Sometimes it simply stands.